Hello there, my name is Anna Lundberg. I'm the founder of One Step Outside, author of Leaving the Corporate 9 to 5 and host of the Reimagining Success podcast. And we've been looking at this idea of leaving the corporate 9 to 5 and some things that might be holding you back. Specifically, last week we looked at the fear of failure, which meant the fear of making the wrong choice and ruining your career prospects forever, the fear of having to maybe go back to another full-time job, failing in the business in the sense that you're not making enough money, getting enough clients, and doing all of this publicly so that people would judge you for that very public failure. But fear of failure, unfortunately, is not the only thing that might be holding you back. And there are another few fears that I wanted to explore this week. Specifically, first of all, the fear of starting from scratch. Secondly, the fear that the grass won't actually be greener once you get to the other side of the fence. And thirdly, the fear that you'll have to work even harder than ever before. So first of all, the fear of starting from scratch. I always find this really interesting because if you think back to when you graduated from university, you had pretty much zero skills, zero experience, and yet somehow you're incredibly confident and perhaps, dare I say, arrogant in applying to all these incredible jobs and companies, thinking that you'd be the most incredible contribution to this company, even though you knew nothing about what they were doing. So I find it ironic that, 10, 15 years later or more, we have a lot more experience, both soft skills, hard skills, knowledge, and so on, and yet somehow we've lost that confidence that we had back when we left university. Secondly, we aren't actually starting from scratch. You have so many transferable skills, again, soft skills, hard skills that you can bring to the table. So it's very unlikely that you'll be doing something where really none of your past experience will be relevant. Now, the second fear was the fear that the grass won't be greener. And there's likely to be a lot of things that you don't like about the corporate world, hence why you want to leave. Maybe the office politics, the meetings, the emails, the stress and burnout, the difficult colleagues and clients and so on. And yes, of course, there will be some aspects of this as well when you start your own business. Once you, look closer, once you get into the day-to-day of actually running your own business, you'll see more of the detail, the reality of what it takes, and it won't be as shiny and perfect as it is when you're looking from the other side of that fence. However, the whole point of running your own business is that you can design it. You're the boss. No one else is telling you what to do. You're choosing the clients you want to work with. You can say no to the ones you don't, and so on. You can choose your working hours. You can choose to work virtually rather than having all those meetings. So really the whole idea of running your own business is that you can run your own show. Of course, there will always be some things that you don't like, but the goal is to minimise those things, and certainly in the mid to longer term, to design a business that's really going to work for your personal preferences and parameters. And then finally, the fear of working even harder than ever before. Again, one of the reasons why you want to leave is probably because you're working really hard, you want more flexibility, time for your family, for your hobbies, maybe you want to travel, write that book finally that you've been dreaming of, and so on. And I'm not here to tell you that it's easy to start your own business. However, again, you are designing your business model and your way of working. So it's really up to you to set the goals, the income targets that you have, and to set the time frame. So you can actually work less hard. You can create this business as a side hustle, working just a few hours every week alongside your full-time job. That will take the pressure off from bringing in that salary right away. And of course, it will take much longer. However, it'll be a smoother ride and you won't have to work so hard. So that's a choice you can make. You can slow things down, take away a bit of the hustle, take things a little bit easier along the way, but accept that that's going to take longer. To be honest, it's not a problem that it will be slow because you still have hopefully many years left in this new business that you're creating. And so much better to take it step by step to really build a solid foundation and then create that sustainable business that's going to last for a very long time. So those are three more fears that I wanted to explore with you. The fear of starting from scratch, the fear that the grass won't be greener, and the fear of working too hard. Now, as I always say, scary does tend to come along for the ride with exciting, and that's really part of the point here. We are getting out of our comfort zone. We are trying to challenge ourselves and do something new and exciting in our career. And by the way, even if we are working harder, which we certainly will be doing the short term, and hopefully you're choosing to do interesting, enjoyable, rewarding, fulfilling work, so it won't feel like you're working harder. Actually, ironically, even though you may be working more on paper, it'll feel like you have this newfound energy and enthusiasm. And if it reassures you even further, we will be exploring how you can reduce these fears, how you can manage them, how you can reduce the risk of the worst case scenario that you're worried about, and how to make this roller coaster ride even smoother for you. As ever, I'd love to invite you over to the Facebook group if you're active there. And we have the One Step Outside Facebook group. You can search One Step Outside on Facebook or go to onestepoutside.com/community. That's onestepoutside.com/community. And you'll meet lots of like-minded people working on similar things, reimagining success outside of the corporate 9 to 5. And if you're not active on Facebook, then do message me. I have lots of other resources and things for you. And of course, you'll see me back here next week as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.